Naturally nomadic.
So coming to you from the east, the west, the north, the south, this is Indigenous 150 Plus podcast series. Hello, my name is Matthew Jermaine Goodman. I'm your host, coming to you from Masteriach, Quebec, traditional territory in New Montagne. On today's episode, I'm speaking with Guillaume and Jack, both part of the Wapikoni crew. They're working with Indigenous voices, working towards respecting their sovereign narratives, and I've had the pleasure of working with them through the virtual studio, and just would like to share that experience a little bit more with you guys. And there's no better place for the floor other than Guillaume. Go right ahead, buddy.
My name is Guillaume. I'm a filmmaker, and I also work as a filmmaker mentor for Wapikoni. Wapikoni, it's like started like over 15 years ago, and it's like a mobile film and sound studio that goes to Indigenous communities in Canada, but also abroad. It was founded by filmmaker Manon Barbeau and by the different Indigenous communities, and its mission is to promote the narrative sovereignty of First Nation with films, with musics. So I've been working with Wapikoni for over 5 years now.
And we have a true gem with us. It's an honor to be working with Jack. And Jack, give it away, buddy.
Yeah, so I'm Jack Bellhumor. I am also a filmmaker, and recently I've been blessed with this opportunity to work as an outreach worker in this virtual studio cohort with Wapikoni Mobile. So the virtual studio is something that's come up since the pandemic happened, which allowed us a creative space to work virtually online, so that artists could still connect with a mentor like Guillaume and an outreach worker like myself to see their projects into fruition. And just a little bit of background about myself is I was once a participant of this programming myself. So it's really interesting to be in this situation here now as an outreach worker, having been in Matthew's position here before.
I'd like to touch in a little bit about that. How did you find yourself being an outreach worker after the fact of being a participant?
Now that I think about it, it was really about giving back, I feel, because I've had such a great experience in the different aspects of what Wapikoni does for their participants. So they have a mobile studio which travels. It's a trailer with a studio in it, and I've got to experience that firsthand when I made my first film with them in Thunder Bay, Ontario. And since I've also worked with the virtual studio, so I just really got to experience the benefit of what Wapikoni does as an organization and as a team of people from different backgrounds. And I've benefited so much from this programming that I just thought the next thing I should do is maybe try to give back and be a part of that of the giving, be on the giving end of all this good stuff.
That's beautiful. Yeah, really excited and super honored to be part of the virtual studio and to be able to collaborate with you guys. It's really just a blessing. And Guillaume, how did you find yourself working with the virtual studio crew?
I think similar to Jack, like I felt like I was really lucky in my profession to be doing my own film, and I wanted to give back. it's a privilege to be able to go to college and then university in film production, learn to make film. But you're developing your own project all the time. You're working for yourself or your collaborators. And there was that opportunity to just work for other people and to help people tell their stories and stories that we haven't heard before. So that I found was a great opportunity. And I've known filmmakers in the past that done Wapikoni. I would have been able to do it all like, oh no, I don't have the maybe the capacity or the knowledge. But in 2017, I said, oh, maybe I should just try, and learn. And that's how I started working with Wapikoni. I was like, let's try, we'll see. And then I realized that I was really liking that part of filmmaking, the part of sharing the knowledge, but also finding new ways of make films, because we're not just like doing stuff the traditional way. We're learning new ways of making film, because each filmmakers that is working with Wapikoni, it's a new project, it's a new journey, it's a new experience, and always with the idea of respecting the narrative sovereignty. So that's the how it started, and I don't regret it. It's been an amazing adventure. 5 years later, I think about all the amazing people I've met and all the amazing experience, like all these projects that maybe a few weeks earlier there was nothing, and then by the end of the month there was like a few films, there was a few songs recorded, and all these projects have so much soul into it. It's beautiful.
I really found that, with the Wapikoni team, and it's they do a really good job at being a community, and understanding, uh, like the big engine and in Hollywood, and how they say that every minute costs like ridiculous amounts of dollars because there's all these people on set running around trying to figure things out. I find that Wapikoni, they really do a fantastic job, at least at like kind of taking that engine and running it, but also, like you said, like giving that experience to the creator, the individual. I mean, if there's anything that you could say about art, and that takes away the stress of having to run those engines, and then depleting your energy and taking away that creativity. How you've been able to make it this far with the listeners, like how do you find that time to be in the creative mind state and to still be able to see things through?
When I started filmmaking, it's been really about a lot of growth, ever since I've had my first experience with Wapikoni, because working with Wapikoni on my first film, like I didn't have enough in terms of guidance or equipment available to me, or someone with an experienced ear and eye, and I really felt like the director of my own film because I had the help. Often when you're trying to do things yourself, you want to be an independent artist, and you want to try your hands at all the different aspects of the filmmaking job, like of so that's what I was doing before, like trying to be the sound guy and just be everything on and really through chatting with my filmmaker mentors and looking at films they've made and films that they've made within the Wapikoni collective, gave me the drive to really focus on telling the story, and gave me the knowledge to let people help me, because I'm sort of like a bit of a workaholic and a doer and a trier, and it's like, oh, I want to do that, I want to do that. And then when you're trying to take it all on, often it can take away from your creativity or your focus on the plot of your film. And when I started working with Wapikoni, I learned how to sort of delegate, and I had actually people that were there to support me and take on a task if I needed them to, and or to give me some tips with the editing, and it taught me patience, honestly, a lot, especially with the virtual studio. Because in the mobile studio, we have that 30 days and we have the people and the equipment, and it's go time, right? With the virtual studio, that's where the patience sort of came in. Is like, I'm not really a patient person. I love to be on the go, and I'm always trying to stay busy and trying to complete my projects. Like, I have this thing in my head where if I finish it, I have to start it, or if I start it, I have to finish it. Sorry. So with the virtual studio, my first time working with it, I wanted to get it all done, and I'm like, oh, I got 6 weeks, like, or whatever it is. It's like I started putting those limits on myself, like the time constraints. But then I had my outreach worker who was like, Jack, no, relax. You don't have to stress yourself. You've got all the time in the world. You can always apply to the next cohort and the next one and the next one. And Wapikoni will continue to support you, and don't stress. And then, I'd have my filmmaker mentor saying, yeah, they're absolutely right. Because if you're stressing and you're rushing, then ultimately it's going to affect the quality of the filmmaking portion that we're doing, like the technical aspects. And they were absolutely right. And it's just the support network that comes with working with a team who's dedicated to you and your idea, and doing so correctly. And it's like, I can't explain it with words. It increased my filmmaking and my end result exponentially. And that's what I'm trying to do, is just help someone else now.
It's amazing just to have this opportunity to be able to work with you guys and to be able to, express myself appropriately, and not only that, like, find what it is to be a sovereign man and have a sovereign narrative, and it's really a joy, really take control of that, and I, I'm just really grateful to be working with you both, and to be creating and building relationships with you guys, because it's so. Thank you for tuning in or listening. I'm Matthew Jermaine Goodman. Do you guys want to share your Instagrams or your Facebooks or your social media, I should say? And I will be posting those links below. So for those that are interested, you're more than welcome to give them a look. And, they have a lot of great work on their website as well. And it's a great way to get Indigenous voices out there. So thank you guys for listening, and I appreciate your time.